We are live. Alrighty. Hey, everybody. I'm Rob the Builder. Can we build it? Yes, we can. How you doing, David? Now, today, excuse me while I'm rubbing my eyes. Had a bit of a coughing and sneezing fit shortly before coming on. I'm probably still a bit in the eye-watery phase, if you know what I'm saying. Now, today there were various things I had in mind to do. And I've changed my plans, I have. Why? Because yesterday, as we were doing the front end, a few things came to my attention, and I'd rather like to get that detailed correctly. And part of that even involves the applying a bit of the yellow as a base color. We're going to do a bit of a look-see, we are. Yes, we are. Not just on the front end, but also up around the rear of the, excuse me, engine bay. All will be revealed, it shall. Alrighty, we all know the drill. Come on now. Oh yeah. Now, on a completely irrelevant note, as I bring the camera around, I saw this. What I can only view as. Hang on a moment. Fuck's sake, my camera's. Well, my phone was the point. It's giving me a bit of a dick around. I forgot that. What the hell, man? I don't. What is this tosh? I'm not on here. Dear, oh dear, people. There we go. Bit of focus would be good. I ask you. I may have mentioned that I use my phone as my camera, which is fine because these days they're pretty good. But sometimes it does quirky things. Go figure. Excuse me a moment. Now, let me just get in and we're going to do a bit of examination, we are. And then that's not a bad idea. Oh, we all have major ideas at night, mate. My major ideas frequently involve global domination, but we'll leave that discussion there. Anyway, that's a good idea. But ultimately, there's two things I'm looking at here, or two considerations it's this. One, it's still really a temporary measure now, isn't it? In the final analysis, you can't do that ad infinitum. And two, and these are realities, I can afford it. Now, that doesn't, just because you can afford something doesn't mean you have to spend that money. But at the same time, if it's one of those things, if it's not really a proper, it's not really how it should be, can afford. You know what I'm saying? That's a way around it. I have toyed with the idea of taping it. So yeah, but thank you for the idea. Now, where I was going with this is okay, there's a couple. Oh my lord, I have done well with that little pony logo. Here's something I was going to share with you. Give me a moment. I'll just grab. Where's that bit of cardboard that I use for? Here we go. Bing. Yep. Now, there we go. What I'm thinking, they do supply a decal for that. I'm going to try and paint that as best I can. My theory being that it will improve the overall look. If I pull it off, then I'm a god. I'm not going to pull it off well. The deck will be better, but yeah, I think you get the idea. I love how if I bring it right up, let's see if we can get a good clear focus on this. Probably not, because I'm not. There's got to be a thing of equals. There we go. That'll give us the. You can see it can be done. It can be done. Tricky as all hell. Can be done. But it does come with the decal. I suppose in a worst case scenario, I can do that little delicacy if the mood takes me, and ultimately it will bring those, because it's going to be the same color vaguely as the decal. It will look a little bit more bing. That's the theory. Excuse me again. Now, beyond that, we have other things to consider here. And indeed, not just there, also in this area here. Now, we've got windscreen wiper here to colour. There's a bottle there. I want to know what colour that is. And what I'll probably do is I'll do the yellow first or anyway, but I'll paint this area in its entirety. Because then, when it comes to masking, I don't have to do these finicky little bits. I can just go splatch, splatch, and away we go. That's the plan. That's the plan, Stan. Now, so also to that end, similarly, I want to check a couple of colours here, but probably our first port of call will be the yellow. I should have done the yellow first yesterday, but be that as it may. Now, then I have to make sure I've got my correct yellow here. I think I've found it. I've got a couple. It's not that yellow. I think this was our yellow. Yellow again. Got a few yellows, but we'll come back to that. Let's have a look at our assembly sheets for a moment, kids. Now, focus. Yeah, there we go. Now, what we're looking for, good people, is looking. Where is it? Here we go. Now J is 1. Now then. Here we go. Q. Now, these are clearly the lights, and that's fine. What I'm thinking, something that was once given to me, if you're painting those, a suggestion that was given to me on one occasion with regards to lights is to the area behind me. You want to paint silver. They've actually got it as chrome on the headlights. Excuse me, I'm just scratch my ear. Where are we? There. They actually listed as chrome. Hang on, let me give you a better focus here. Here we go. So yeah, Now they list the interior of the headsets as chrome. The one I was always told to roll with was aluminium, but if they're saying chrome, we're doing chrome. Ich habe gesprochen. Now, and they say the same underneath, so we're doing that. Which means, now let's have a. Do I want to? Well, they're already done. So swing better, and yeah, I'd say we can do much the same there and there, and then just now. But if I'm doing yellow, it can what that particular color can wait, but we can certainly do our little white spots in the middle, which I believe would be the globes. And you know what? I'm going to consider the idea of painting the logo. Now is probably as good a time as any to get a start on that. And our first port of call would be white. And I'm actually going to go on acrylic on that one. So the other question I have, good people, is, and you know, there's a whole stack of other shit we can also do that doesn't necessarily have to be specifically here. Like we can paint these lights. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I just got to find out what Q is. Oops, probably should come out a bit. I find that between what I'm seeing on my camera and what you guys see is you seem to get a bit more of a zoom in for some reason. Not sure what happens with that. Now, the other question I have is in this area here, but I want to get a closer look. Let's have a gander. Let's see if we can find what we're looking for. Looking, not finding the question I'm asking being answered. Not there. Hopefully this won't take much longer for me to find. Maybe in here we'll get the answer. Apparently not. Well, because I don't think that would be the same color. I don't think that would be yellow. It's a little gas bottle thing. And they don't tell us what color it is. Cunties. That's what they are. Cunties. Robin. No, they're not giving us any indications on that. What I'm checking out here, just so as you know, is that there. I'm not convinced that bottle would be yellow in the same way that the body would be. So what I want to do is find out what color that. Actually, if I'm doing the yellow behind it, it probably doesn't matter for today, does it now? All right. I'm getting myself distracted. I am. Right. Let's get this shit done. Now, the color we're rolling with is our yellow once we confirm that we have the correct one. I believe it's this one. It was the one that I ended up just deciding was the yellow I liked. Let's give it a shake just to confirm that. If I want to find Q as Bond, Now, yeah, I'm not minding that as a yellow. It's a good solid yellow. It's not, doesn't. Now, I do have others. These actually, I should zoom you guys out first. Hang on. Now, this is a yellow I am considering. I don't mind it. Oh, every time I have to give my surname, regardless of the fact that my surname isn't Bond, they have to come and say, "Now, what's your name?" Yeah, in any context, really have to, and sometimes I can't help myself. I just do Bond, James Bond. Then I have to go, "Nah, you kidding?" And I've actually had people say, "Really?" I'm like, seriously? Do you think anybody would inflict that on their child? But there are people who probably have. Some fuckers. Now there's one yellow. Possibly, let's see what else we have in our yellow department before we get stuck into this. Oh, that wasn't. Give me a moment, guys. I bet you they're in the other box. I was packing. Yeah, all my yellows are in the other box. That would be right. And I've got to get up to get to them, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I cleared out quite an area of stuff I packed up all the airbrushing stuff yesterday, and that's why it's a bit over there. I didn't think that was about the necessities, as it were, of picking up whoops, almost lost the headset there. All right. Now, other yellows. Now, I know ones I don't want, and that's going to be kind of handy in the process of elimination. Sand yellow, no. Gelb, nein. Train yellow, no. Blue Angels yellow, no. Almost done, I would say. Yeah, that was the one I was happy with. It's a good solid colour. It's got a nice bit of depth to it. It's not overly bright. I mean, an option I have, I think this one's a bit, this is probably the only other option I would consider. And that gives us a bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for? We can go for a compare and contrast and then make executive decisions in due course. And then painting time. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. Now, a lot of it's going to be pretty straightforward in this area, and we don't actually have to be too fastidious by virtue of the fact that this area over here is obviously going to be yellow anyway. There's something I wouldn't mind checking. Nah, I think I'm overthinking a couple of things here. There's a little depression in there. I think, oh, should I paint that a different color? And I'm probably overthinking it. Not everything has to be painted, you know. All right. Now, once I've got this one mixed, at least to okay, let's compare. Let's compare. The rail yellow is a bit brighter. This is Blue Angels yellow. I think I prefer brighter. Okay. That's that decision made. I think you saw both of them. Give me a moment. Just in case you didn't, I should probably... So here's our two yellows. Probably a better angle to there. And as you can see, hopefully, this is a bit darker than that, which has a bit of a brighter colour to it. I'm rolling with the bright because it'll give us a bigger contrast against the black. That's my theory. Zoom out a bit here. Now, I'm going to move in again. One thing I'm looking forward to at my new place is I won't have to worry about mats in the modelling area because it's floorboards. Now that comes with inherent difficulties in turn, but I reckon I'm going to use one of these mats in the kitchen because they've got floorboards in there. So if I ran it sort of past certain things, it might be a good idea there. We'll see what I think as I get into the abode. But that's a whole other story. Now, all right, that's yellow will not require now much in terms of shaking, but I'll give it another one just because that's just the way I roll. Now get all this shit out of the way for the time being. Away with you. And we'll get ourselves a paint pot. Now, yeah, here we go. One of these will do. Boom. Doesn't really matter, Rob. You're being overly fussy. Now, now what I want to do here, I'll start with this area here, and I'll show you what my plan is. Yep, I saw that coming like a fucking freight train. The moment it doesn't pour smoothly, you know you're going to get drops on your bloody mat. Hang on. It didn't pour. You might have seen it just sort of like, yeah. Well, that's the worst outcome for the day. I will have done well. Now, now we are getting places, people. Wow. Goggles will be handy. Now, what I'll show you first, just so as you can, excuse me, get a bit of a feel for what we're trying to achieve here. A bit of cardboard's fallen somewhere inconvenient, so I shall use this piece of paper towel, which is fine as well. Now, hey, Bassman, how you doing? Now, what you'll notice here, we got our windscreen wipers. I don't want them yellow. I'm pretty confident that that bottle will not be yellow. So I'm not going to paint that. I'm going to paint around that. And that inner line, if you look really, hang on, if you look really closely, you'll actually see there's also a line that goes around there. Now, I'm prepared to suggest that might not be yellow either. Or actually, hang on. Close. Yeah, let's have a look at that. Yeah, I won't paint that. And I want to keep that inner area there clear, I reckon, because I think that's probably going to want to be the same grey as that. That's my theory. So we're going to zoom out just a little. I'm going to get myself a mouthful of coffee. Oh. Oh, yeah. Now, just use that as paper to wipe my chops off, get a fresh bit of paper. Well, maybe not. Anyway, now, nice crisp brush. Oh, hey, I found my Citadel. You probably are not so... I'm sure my day-to-day issues do not necessarily stay at the forefront of your mind on your daily machinations. But one thing, or an issue I have had, that's right, this one's a bit temperamental, is I couldn't find my one of my favourite brushes, my Citadel. I love my Citadel. I'm not talking about the big, powerful structure. I'm talking about this brush, marvellous brush. I put it in the wrong bloody jar. Can't believe I did that. Most appalled I was. Here we go. Here's a brush that will do the job for us, at least for the smaller areas. Do I want to go a bit heavier? That's the only question I really have, and if so, with what? Not that one. Sorry, I'm very particular. Maybe that one. Yeah. Or rubbing. Was there? I know, guys. I'll get started soon. We're going to start with that one. Goggles. Now, the easy way to do this will be just to use this to edge in, and then probably get a bigger one to just go boom, boom, boom. Now, not go the wrong way. There we go. Now, what we're going to do, as I said, get a bit of reservoir going in the brush. Dealy, dealy. Now, oops, not quite. That's okay. Got a small bit of the windscreen wiper, but that's okay. That's why you do your base color first. Oh no, we have paint reactivation going on here. Now, is that in here? Let me clean this brush. I hope not. See, this is actually why I get a little particular about trying to match colours in our in paint pots, because at least if you're in the same sort of broad colour, you got something going on. Now let's see if we can, if it happens again, I'm going to need to, because I'll tell you what the situation is very shortly if this continues. This is not making me happy. And it may mean that I need to completely we'll see. We'll see. I think it's because of the jet black that we did there, and sort of yeah, I see what's happened. We have to be very careful. Yeah, we're okay. It's on the actual surface there that has happened. It's okay. That's okay. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Just need to cover that up a bit. All right. Now, next, we're going to go on that sort of an angle. Not entirely happy with the brush at the moment, neither. What the fuck's going on there? Hang on. Getting very paranoid now. Here we go. All right. Now, all right. It's taking a bit. Well, my hand's doing its go to sleep thing. I ask you people. Yeah. All right. We're getting there. Yeah, I think you can. It's a bit blurry because of the way the camera's going, but you can start to see how it's coming together. Oh, hey, Ian, how you doing, man? How your train's going? Good. Actually, there's a chappie who I've met on here, named Jeff. He does N scale trains. Trying to think. Just, I guess if you did a bit of a search on that basis alone, you'd probably track him down. I thought you might be interested in seeing that sort of somebody else's trains. Anyway, now. Next is getting some bloody feeling back in my fingers. What the hell goes on with that? I dare say once I've had surgery and I'm starting to get active, that will be less of a thing. Come on now. I ask you now. Let's come in. There we are. Now we'll come down and around there. Now if I can get all the yellow on in this area and the front end, I'll be pretty happy with the day's outcomes. Here we go. Starting to get there. Now, and fuck's sake, hang on. There we go. For some reason doing that gets them all settled down. The thumb's the big one for some reason. There we go. Oh, that's nice. There we go. Better. Let's get on with it. Now, now I'm going to want a very thin sharp brush, one point in there. So we'll do that later. Well, actually, what we could do, oh no, there's a plan. All right. Now we're starting to get this little area done quite happily. And what we're going to do is we're going to go around a few other bits with this big, or not big, but it's going to be comparatively big to the brush. We're going to go into some very small spots in there. And then we can just get the slightly bigger brush and just go slap. That's the word I'm looking for, slap. And then we're going to hit the actual front end. Yeah. So we're going to go into there. And yeah, this paint reactivation cape is proving a bit of a clusterfuck. There we go. I picked up some off of those vents, and there we go again. Just got to be aware of it, really. Now. My hand's doing its thing again. Dearing me. Getting a bit of a fisting of fury here today. Never mind. Now. All right. Slowly but surely. Good. Now. Yep. Now. We just go back into here for a moment. All right. Getting there, people. Now, just around that bottle, I reckon. And then things get a lot easier. All right. Almost there, kids. And once I've gotten this bottle isolated, it'll be time for a little bit of small brush action. Then much smaller brush than this one. And then we get a big brush out. And then once I've got it done, I'll give you a zoom in. All right, now. All right. We can do this now. Clean this brush. Then we're going to go for a very crisp brush to go into a couple of really tight little spots. Then I'm going to get the big brush out. Now the benefit of getting all this done is it gives me, while that's drying, I can check what colour that, if any, that bottle is meant to be. I reckon it's meant to be probably an ivory or a white or whatever, maybe even blue. But I want to check that out. I doubt it would be yellow. So I can go and look at some pics and then confirm what colour it's meant to be. Get on there, damn you. Stop your knees bent. What the fuck now? Stop that. Bloody thing. I ask you. Don't know if you would have just seen in the corner here Liv was playing silly buggers with me. Now, for our super crisp work, hello, yes. Give me a moment. I'll just. Fucking hell, I tell you, man. Now, something I might want to consider, because this is probably the brush I'm going to want to use for one particular part of the front end. So I may as well do that. So I'll bring that over to here. Now, give me a moment. I was right into, there we go. There's that paint reactivation caper. Or maybe it's just this black under there, I don't know. Either way. It's going to be yellow, I tell you. By the time I finish with it. Camera. May need to come back to this area. Let it settle for a bit. And then apply in due course. Yeah, this is getting pretty fucked up actually. Clean this brush. Not happy about that paint reactivation situation. We're going to have to let that dry and restart. Not happy. Because it looks like shit at the moment, but at least it's just a work in progress, I guess. Now, and it was there I wanted to go with this. Hang on a moment. Are you still doing that to me? I'm wondering if I should change my paint pot. I might do that even. Where was I? Oh, yes. There we go. Now, what I might do, we're going to pop that there for a moment. At least I got that little bit that I thought I wanted, or that I did want done on that fairly cleanly. Now, this is going to be bitching if I can pull it off. It's going to be a little bit tricksy. Trixie. A friend of mine's pet cat's named Trixie. And, ooh, yeah, it's going to require touch-ups all the way through, but that's okay. And when I think of Trixie, aside from Gollum, Trixie and Fools, I think of the dance track, Speed Racer from God knows how many years ago. I don't know if you guys even know it or remember it, but at the end of the day, he and Trixie end up going for gold. And as things clearly are escalating, the they trot out the old "Here comes Speed Racer." Like a lot of dance tracks, the actual lyrical content was negligible anyway, so, it was, yeah. Trixie. I'm hoping to get most of this. I don't mind so much if I get it on the upper area, because that's going to be painted over anyway, as far as that little rim. There's a little line of yellow that just needs to go into there. We're going to need to redo that, just because it's a very tight area. But that's actually starting to come up, though. Give me a moment. Now here's where it's going to get a little shitful. Because there's some black paint there. But beyond that, this is actually coming up quite well. All right, almost. We'll give that another run through with exactly the same area. See if we can get that a bit more solid. We'll probably need to revisit that a couple of times. That's okay. Now, in again. Yeah, we're going to need to do a little line there of touch-ups on the black, but that's going to be far easier than over the yellow. The other way around, but never mind. I should have done this first. But that's okay. I'm dealing with it. Hey! Oh! Never mind. All right. Now today is probably the last time you'll see the Boss Mustang for, I'd say, a week and a half. Because on the week that I move house, I'm just going to do the Viking. There's only going to be 2 or 3 streams, and then I go into hospital. Now, I'm not quite sure what day I come out. I definitely won't be on that weekend, but that's not this weekend. I'll be on this weekend. And when I get back after I'm back from hospital, then I would consider and then I'll probably get back into this. And the other kits is in the P51B. All right, that's sort of coming along. One thing I might be able to do myself a favour with. See how we roll on this one. Well, we've got to start on here so far. I'm going to have to go over that area. That's meant to be chrome. But you can see we've got at least a start on that yellow lit line there. Give me a moment. Now, something I want to quickly check. Yep. All right. Now, where I want to go. I want to get a bigger brush for this. I don't know. Oh, maybe not. Right in between there. Some of that activated paint is already on here. Fuck. Very frustrating on that front, and in fact, so much so. Give me a moment. Now, let's see if I can find a fucking clean one. Actually, wait a moment. I know where there are some. Back in a tick. Ha! Yeah, no, it's entirely up to them. Now, the good news for me on the hospital food front is, here we go, is that, there will be no paint reactivation for this one, is that because I've been waiting so long on the public system, they've actually outsourced me to a private hospital. Now, I'm sure they won't be going out of their way to go, right, this is how, it'll be easier for them to just go, yeah, bam. So I'll probably I'm getting private hospital food. I am. Yes. Yes. Now. Right. You. Right. Pardon me. Let's get this shit done. Up there. It's a bit to this front end, I tell you. As far as yeah, there we go. Now, all of this front end with the yellow is going to be a bit delicate. Or not delicate, but Small brushwork. Yeah. Actually, that's coming along now. I can see it. Ah, yes. Yeah, I'm starting to say, oh, wow, that's going to look heaps good. I believe that's the technical terminology we require. Heaps good. Now, once I've gotten this line done, we're getting places, I tell you. Stretch my legs out. I'm definitely going to have to revisit that line underneath. But let's get all the rest of this done first. Gotta say, this is taking a lot longer than I had anticipated, to be honest. Cucumber sandwiches. Well, I'd like some cheese for that cucumber ale, boy. I mean, I say, that's a jolly rum thing, what? That's as good as my Chinless Wonder impersonation gets. We'll do them with a bigger brush. Now, yeah, this jet black's prone to reactivation, I would suggest. So you need to be very careful around it. Now, This is a bit tricksy. We all know the line, tricksy. Oops. Yeah, definitely should have done the yellow first. Never mind. All right. All right, we're getting places, kids. A little more around there. That's better. We're going to have to revisit this again. Well, not revisit it again, but we're going to have to revisit this. That's okay. So what I might do, if I'm going to have to revisit large parts of it anyway in this colour, what I might do is just get it done as far as it goes, and then we can complete or do a revisit when the time is relevant, when I have that time availability, which again will be when I'm at the new place and when I'm out of hospital. Whoops. But we are getting some good progress on this. As far as, because let's face it, it was always going to have to probably be redone a couple of times. So, get it done first time and so forth. We all know the drill here. Now, now, almost there. All right. She's coming along. Oops. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. But then if I've learnt one thing from scale modelling, it's that the quest for perfection is only going to end with doing your head in. That is one thing I have learnt, and learnt well. Delay. Yeah. Just into there. All right, it's a start. Oh, it's not bad. Do I want to try one quickly? Yeah, I do. Let's see if we can. Just one more. See if we can get a stronger yellow over that bit of mucky where the regeneration has occurred. Getting there. Sort of. We'll have to do a lot of tidy ups along the bottom line there and stuff, but we're going to get a bit of focus. Of course not. Actually, before I give you to do that, I might as well what I'm going to do very quickly here. I'm going to try and hit this bit that also reactivated on us again. Then I'm going to get the big brush out and just go slap, slap, slap on certain spots. And then, yeah, nah. No, I think this is going to require a bit of, not surgery is the wrong word, but a bit of work on both colours. Never mind. All right. Again, we'll be needing to do a bit of revisiting there because of the colour the paint reactivation thing we experienced. But once I've cleaned this brush, I'm going to do some bigger spots, and then I'm going to wind the stream up. Well, first I'll show you what we've done. Actually got a bit done. Now, rinse that. No, you don't. I ask you. I've got to go to Centrelink today. Centrelink's like our social services thing. And as I'm actually going in there to discuss, because you see, I'm currently on what's called a medical exemption for job seeker, which is to say, I don't have to look for work, but I do receive job seeker. Now, the only reason I'm even able to survive on that in truth, and this is true for anybody who's on it, is because I've got money in the first place. If you didn't, you'd be fucked. It's bullshit. Anyway, I'm going in there to discuss with them that I will soon be off the medical exemption, but I know they do things to help people start their own business, which I have in all the mechanisms in place. And I'm going to go to them and say, well, look, here's the situation. But I'm not and here's the thing where I'm having a bit of a, I might want to consider leaving my bling off whilst I'm going into the Social Security office and perhaps re-blinging when I come out, if you follow me. I'm not entirely convinced that walking into an office where you are supposed to be looking for money covered with a few grand worth of jewelry is necessarily a great look. They may raise an eyebrow. Yeah. Even this is getting a bit... there's something going on here, kids. But it's getting there. Let's see what the situation here is. There is now not quite. I know where that would have come from. Probably when I was doing that, or maybe the interior there. There's a bit of dark paint there, and it's making this a little darker. Obviously, the dark paint underneath will need to be. We'll be doing this a couple of times as well. That's okay. But one thing it does do is give us a good idea as to how what it's going to look like in the final analysis. All right. Now, do I want to do any more? Not for the time being. All right. Let me clean my brush and I'll give you a zoom in on what we did today. I'm going to get this dry. I also need to consider getting my shit together. One thing I do know about going to Centrelink is if you're going to go early and you need to actually be there before it opens. Now, and you'll see where there's definite need for tidy ups and shit. Still got some mucky in here. Now, actually, it doesn't look as bad as I thought. Now that I'm having a bit of a look from a distance. And bearing in mind that there will be other coats to go on and da-da-da. Let me just rinse this. Now, and we'll just go splitch. And can I get to? Probably not. Yeah, I can. Fantastic. All right. Now, this is our front end at the moment. There we go. Now, as you can see, we're going to need to do some tidy ups along there. That's easy. A few little tidy ups here and there, but it's coming along. And I'm going to want to redo that yellow as well, just to make it a bit more solid. But you can also get a bit of an idea as to how it's going to start looking as an overall car too on that one. Now, hang on. Yeah, right. Yeah, now I'm a bit fortunate in that regard, in that, give me a moment. And here's I'm not quite sure what to call that area, but yeah, now you can see how we're going to be able to do our whatchamacallits. Whatchamacallits. Windscreen wipers quite clearly. Like I said, I reckon that bottle's a white colour. I'm going to check that out. There's our vents against the our paint. So yeah, they give you a bit of an idea of the sort of colour contrast we'll be getting. There you go. All right. Yeah, the advantage I have on that sort of a subject matter quickly before I wind up, David, is that I actually used to work for a politician. Admittedly, we're talking 25 years ago, but it's given me, it will look nice. I'm very happy with the color contrast. I think that's going to come up a treat, you know? It's just, it's a process. And sometimes you do need to redo paintwork. In fact, you generally give it 2 coats anyway. So, but yeah, that'll come up looking really, I'm very happy with it as a general thing. Now, as I was saying, yeah, I worked for Poly 25 years ago, and what it gave me was really good insight into how to pull the levers on government departments. And yeah, so I'm going to go in there and pull a few levers. I am. I know the one thing they want more than anything else is to get me off their books. If I play my cards right, they'll put me onto this program where I can set my own business up, and they'll still supply me with some money. That everyone wins. That's what they want. They'll put me off their books. I'll be off their books. So yeah. Anyway, on to more salient points. Thank you for watching, people. I do appreciate it. First time viewers, you know the drill. Follow, like, or subscribe. If you'd like to track me down other platforms, I'm Rob the Builder on Facebook and YouTube. I'm Robster the Builder on Instagram and Twitch. And what do we do, people? We follow, like, or subscribe. Now, tomorrow I'll be back. I'll be on the P51B. Not P, yeah, P51B. We'll be getting the fuselage together. Yeah. We'll probably be getting the wings together. We've got the wings together. Will we get the wings on? That'll be Thursday. So we'll get the fuselage together. We'll see what else we can get going. Bearing in mind that, yeah, that too will be packed away on Thursday. Friday and Sunday, I'll work for 109, get that fuselage together, and maybe the wings on as well. And then we start going into the bit more into the sketchy time frames as far as streams and stuff, because I'm moving and stuff. So I'll be doing the Viking for that week, which would be kind of be good. I haven't done it for a while. It's a lot of fun to be had with that. All right. Again, thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. I expect I shall be back at a similar sort of a time, because I need to be out and about fairly early. Thanks, Bassman. I'll hopefully catch you tomorrow. Yeah, as I said earlier, we will be hitting the P51B tomorrow. Alrighty. And on that final note, I just realised that thing there pushes my ear out, makes me look like bloody Prince Charles. I always thought the review of him having big ears was a bit harsh. Never mind. If he's not Prince Charles anymore, is he? He's King Charles. Dearie me. Anyway, I'll what was I going to say? Yes, I'll see you tomorrow. So all that's left for me to say is I'll catch you tomorrow at a similar kit time and on the same kit channel. And hopefully I'll catch you good people then. See yous.